What's up, guys? It's JZNES back again with another video. Here we are today to talk about Life is Strange Before the Storm, but not really Before the Storm, but yes, also Before the Storm. The episode called Farewell, which is the final episode of the Max and Chloe saga of Life is Strange, or the very first episode in a sense, because it actually happens prior to and in between parts of Life is Strange 1, which, spoilers, I guess, for Life is Strange 1, and as well as Farewell there. This episode is such a gut punch, in the sense that it's mostly about childhood nostalgia and your best friends from when you were a kid, and growing up, and at the very end it's about loss, you know? I guess the whole way it's about loss, and that theme permeates throughout, and it's like if that moment from the end of Before the Storm went throughout the entire game. You could feel it lingering in the background. In Before the Storm, you didn't really feel the whole time. I mean, maybe somebody did. Like, oh, hey, well, Rachel's, gonna have bad things happen to her in the next game. Maybe you're thinking about that the whole time. To me, it wasn't about that. It was more about them enjoying each other's company and enjoying the fact that they were now really good friends and all of that, and maybe in a relationship, depending how you made your choices in that game. Here, maybe it's just because I was spoiled this time around for having played it. And by the end of the game, if you haven't figured it out yet, you figure it out by looking around at the context clues. As long as you've played the first game, you'll know. The picture that Max uses to jump back in time to this specific day is there on the counter. And that's when you realize it was from earlier. And that's when you realize it's the infamous day from the first game, Life is Strange, when Chloe's dad dies, and you're just seeing it from a different angle, really. The in-between time between when he goes to pick up Chloe's mom and when she gets back to like let to have all that unfold, the dad's death and all of that. And gosh dang it. And so yeah, that kind of now that I know that was the ending to this episode, after having played it a couple of times, it becomes like you're thinking about that most of the time rather than thinking about Chloe and Max. I did get some enjoyment out of all that, obviously. I was also focused on Chloe and Max and how this is Max's last day. Oh yeah, by the way, also the day that her dad died, it was only a couple of days right before before Max was going to leave. So all of that happens at once. So Chloe's really losing out on not only her best friend, but her favorite parent as well. Which we see the effects of in Life is Strange Before the Storm. I will give this Farewell like, wow, they really, it's really the perfect first chapter to the Life is Strange saga. Not necessarily the first chapter that you play, but I've heard of people who have done that, and that would be an interesting way to play it at some point, and I would almost like to do that. But it's weird that it's the last chapter because it's also the first chapter. It's just strange. But it's also in the middle of this whole midst of the shit that's happening in Life is Strange 1. So technically, there's parts before this that you've actually played from Life is Strange 1, which is just interesting. I don't know. But, aside from that, aside from the whole ending, which is a whole beast of itself, the game is about Chloe and Max hanging out on her last day, that they're going to be hanging out together, you know? And Max is trying to figure out how to tell Chloe that she's leaving. You know, they've been childhood best friends for forever. And we see lots and lots of really heartwarming and adorable pictures of them as kids throughout the whole years that they were playing pirates, and the whole thing is like pirate themed because Chloe wants to give Max this last nostalgic flashback. Later on we find out that Chloe actually does know that Max is leaving already, so I did try to tell her at every opportunity. She stops you at the first opportunity, and then at the second opportunity she kind of lets you speak. But it is very sad because of the implications. You know where this goes with Max and Chloe. It's already sad enough that they're best friends leaving. If you were starting off here, that could already be impactful enough. Maybe you know or have had a best friend who has left. I sure have. You know, not even just like they're gone, but they're just far away now, you know, and you can still talk to them and everything, which is what Max promises here, but doesn't follow through on, which was really her biggest mistake there. Had she written back and had she called her more and all this and that, everything would have been a lot better for Chloe, but she basically abandoned her at the time in her life when she needed her the most. And a lot of the blame of that is on Max, but also the blame on the parents because they left for Seattle or whatever. But aside from that, though, it really works as a good, wholesome experience of looking around and them talking about their memories about certain things. It starts off like you're trying to throw things away for Chloe to clean up her room because that's what her mom wants her to do, and she won't throw away any of her old stuff, and I understand how that is, and this and that. And then they have all these memories about it, and then you start talking about it, and then Chloe finds this this tape that they recorded from years and years ago, which leads to a pirate treasure. So then she goes and finds her old sketchbook. They notice the map is missing. You look around for the map, you find the map, and then it shows like different locations in the house, like the Chloe's room, the swing set, the house itself, and then like the attic was the other one, because that's where the thing is hidden that you need. So they set off on this quest to like get all this stuff together so they can find their little treasure and relive this pirate adventure. So she sends Max up to the attic. You have to do like a puzzle where you can like look around and try to find like things to step on so you can get to the attic because Max isn't tall enough or whatever. And you can look around a little bit. You can see how the rooms have changed, like Joyce's room there, and you can go in there, and it's all different. There's a whole like subplot about like Chloe like being in a fight with this kid or something. You can read about it on the computer, and like her dad is defending her and stuff, and it's like, yeah, kind of signs of things to come. They had this trip planned to the Grand Canyon that you can find the tickets for in the closet, and it was supposed to be a surprise, but then her dad is gone. So I assume they never go on that trip, even though that's stupid because like that's exactly what they would have needed would go on a trip like that to kind of get their mind off of things. But I don't know, maybe they thought it would be too soon or something, depending on when the trip was. I can't really remember, but anyway, um, interesting detail I noticed in the last episode, and I don't think I brought this up. Um, when you look in Rachel Amber's room, you can see that she has, or somewhere in her house, I think it's in the living room, you can see that her and her family have this picture of them at the Eiffel Tower in Paris, and Chloe's family has a jar that it's like the swear jar or whatever from, or it becomes the swear jar, I believe, from this point in episode, or in Life is Strange 1, where it's on this very same day when her dad is talking or whatever. But anyway, they're building up money to go to Paris, which they never get to do in the Chloe timeline, this timeline that we're in. But in the alternate Chloe timeline, where she's like paralyzed or whatever, I think they do go to Paris or something like that. So that's cool. But this is just an interesting little detail. So, anyway, you go up in the attic, you have to, like, move some stuff around, you can, like, see a cool few extra things up there. There's a lot of stuff to look at in this game. This game is, like, pretty short. It's, how long to beat says, like, an hour. I don't think I spent much more than, like, an hour and a half on it, but I looked at kind of everything. Eventually, you, like, make your way through there, and then you can get this little, like, amulet thing that has the layout of like Chloe's backyard on there so that she can see where the X is to dig for the treasure. So you bring it out to Chloe. You can look at outside in the yard. You can see Bongo's grave, her cat, from she talks about it a little bit in Life is Strange. And there's a different cat too that's in like all their pirate photos. I'm pretty sure that's not the same cat. But yeah, so, and you have a nice few little moments. There's one where you're like looking out the window at Chloe, and then she's like, "Are you just watching me from up there, you creeper," or whatever? And then you have like the option to like play it off as like a funny thing, or like have a genuine moment. Of course, I chose that, and it's nice. There's a lot of awe moments in this game, because it's adorable and they're cute, and we know where everything gets, so it's nice to just have this wholesome moment, even though the ending is, very similar. You can never just have a nice ending in one of these games. So, yeah. Life is Strange tradition, though, I guess. Bad endings, or not bad endings, but, melancholy endings. So, yeah, you can look around the yard. Then you can go give her the amulet. She went and got her telescope, so she puts it on the end of the telescope. You like have to get her painter's tape too. Then she has you like look from up on the slide or whatever down on the yard, and you have to line up the windows with the windows on the other house, like her neighbor's house, and then it'll show where the X is. They dig it up. It's a time capsule. Her dad actually added more protection to it, which is nice, because like they just put a lunchbox in the ground, and that would have gotten pretty damaged or whatever. That was cool of him. He's such a good dad. Of course, they have to make him like the best dad in the world, and then fucking kill him off. Yeah, he even did like he was even like a pirate themed like character called Bloody Bill or whatever. It's just really, it's really sad once the ending comes around. Anyway, so they look through their time capsule, they wrote little notes to each other and stuff, and it's just really funny and cute to read. And then, you have like a genuine moment where you can sit down with Chloe and you talk to her for a minute, and, you can take your pictures throughout the whole thing. I found like 3 or 4 of them that you could take, and I took them all. So, But yeah, then you sit down with Chloe. You have this little talk about your how you're leaving or whatever, and she's like, "Yeah, I already knew. I just wanted to make today great for you." Um, and then she's like, but it'll be fine. We'll make it work. You know, we still got today. The rest is today, and we're gonna have more fun and all this and this and that. And then her mom walks in, of course, and the whole thing unravels. It's really heartbreaking to see like Chloe's reaction to that, especially knowing what she goes through later and how hard that whole thing is on her. Seeing that, I mean, she's very cheerful in this game. She's not like, she has a little bit of that sarcasm from later, but it's really more lighthearted. She's much more innocent at this point, and you get to see the moment, the shift between the two. It's just really heartbreaking. And Max cries a little bit too. That's sad. Then you see them at the funeral, and that's really sad. And then Max has to leave directly from the funeral. They don't even like say goodbye to each other or whatever, which is ridiculous and also very sad. But Max leaves her a little tape recorder note saying that she's always going to be there for her and this and that, and we'll make it work kind of thing, even though she doesn't. Yeah. So, it's a really sad ending. It really is. But the rest of the episode, even though it's the undercurrent, the undertone of the episode is melancholy, the nostalgia and the childlike wonderment and the wholesomeness also makes for a really Life is Strange experience. I don't know how else to describe it. It's that good feeling you get in a Life is Strange game. There's always the good, and there's always the bad. And I mean, that's life for you too, right? But, it's just, they know how to gut punch you, and that's definitely how it is. But, there's a lot of good feeling moments in this episode too. And it's a really solid, prequel episode to kind of wrap up Max and Chloe's story, and give it like a solid beginning as well. I just wish we had the same for Rachel Amber and Chloe's story, of how it ends. I would have much preferred to see that. Before the Storm episode 4 or something, like that would have been good, but nah. It's not to be. But that's okay. Still great. Overall, Life is Strange, yeah, I love it. I fucking love Life is Strange. And Before the Storm as well is just an excellent addition to fucking the whole thing. But, and then Farewell. It's great. It's an excellent little addition as well, so I love it, but it's sad, That's Life is Strange for you, right? There's so many good moments and so much good humor and wholesomeness and happiness and nostalgia, but it's also really sad. It's also got those gut punch moments, But I love it. So, we'll see how Life is Strange 2 can even compare. I don't know what to expect from that or True Colors. I can't imagine they can be on this level, Maybe? I don't know. Maybe. Hopefully, right? That's the goal. That's the dream. That they're just as good. Or better. Which I think is kind of impossible. But we'll see. I've been surprised before. I'd be really happy if that were the case. If they were amazing as well. But I'm not gonna go in with super high expectations. I've played Captain Spirit before, and I know that that's pretty alright. But that's the end of the where I've been, and then there's still 2 games beyond that I need to finish. So we'll talk about that soon. But yeah, until then, this has been JZNES saying keep it classic. Stick around for more reviews, underrated games, and I'll see you guys in the next one. JZ, out.